This is a recap for Monday, June 7th. So the first thing we're going to do in the recap is go over the answers on Geometry Lesson 1. So the sum of the length of any two sides of a triangle must be greater than the third side. So that means that side AB plus AC has to be greater than BC. AC plus BC has to be greater than AB. And BC plus AB has to be greater than AC. So any two sides have to add up to something longer than the third side. That's the sum. So the question is, how about 4, 9, and 15? And the answer is no. These cannot form a triangle because 4 plus 9 is equal to 13, and 13 is not greater than 15. So if we tried to make this, it would look something like this. And these two sides would not be able to reach each other. So if this was the 15, and this was the, let's say this is the 4, and this is the 9, well, 9 plus 4 has to be greater than. So this line plus this line, this side, these two sides have to be greater than this length right here, or else they will fall short and won't create a triangle, won't be able to connect. A triangle has two side lengths that are 7 and 9. So if we had this 7, and this 12, then, and this could rotate. So it could go this direction, or it could go this direction. If we stretched it way out like this, almost flat, then this side, let's make it more like this long side right here could be anything up to but not including 19. So 19 is at one side. Then, if we made the triangle go the other direction, or this side rotated around this way, and we rotated it this way, and so this 7 was like this, that was a 7, then this would have to be greater than 5. 5 wouldn't work because it would be too small. It would just flatten. 7 plus 5 is 12. So this is how we say it, that if that third side is x, it has to be less than 19, and it has to be greater than 5. And we get that by doing 12 plus 7 and 12 minus 7. And on the last card, let's see. So two angles share a side if they're adjacent, and this is the shared side right here. Right here is the shared side for this angle and this angle. So that's adjacent. Two angles are vertical if they are formed by intersecting lines and are not adjacent. So that angle, that's the vertex, huge vertex there, and that's the angle. So those are opposite each other, vertical. If the sum of two angles is 180 degrees, they're supplementary angles. That looks like this. Or it could just be two angles that are disconnected that add up to 180. If they do look like this, it's a linear pair. We didn't talk about that too much, but linear pair. If they're add up to 180 and they are adjacent, they're a linear pair. And if two angles are complementary if their sum is 90. So for example, 70 and 20, for example. Okay, so that is Geometry Lesson 3. The other thing that I said I would do is go over the answers on the Desmos activity that we did last Thursday. So I'll go through and answer these. There really isn't a correct or an incorrect answer here, but a lot of people just said the blue because the lines are not connected. And for some reason there was a duplicate on that one. Okay, and quickly the answer key on this, it looks like this. Whoops. We'll put vertical right here, complementary, supplementary, adjacent, and adjacent and vertical. So we've got 4 sets of 4 cards. So these are complementary, 2 angles are 90 degrees, and let's see, these are also 90 degrees. When we add them together, supplementary means that they add up to 180 like these, and they add up to 180. Here we go. Adjacent angles look like this and look like this, and adjacent angles have 2 angles that share a common vertex and they don't overlap, and they have a common side. And so then the rest of these are vertical angles opposite each other like this and like this. Okay, this is a picture of vertical angles. They share a vertex. But are not adjacent. And it looks like I put, let's make sure I've got that right. I got something on there. Looks like a Y instead of a, looks like I wrote vertex, but it's a vertex. All right. What type of angles are shown? These are complementary because they add up. That little red symbol means 90. And so let me just write on here with a writing tool that B, measure of B, is equal to 59, because 59 plus 29, not 59, 61, because 61 plus 59 is 90. So 61. Let's see, it says find the measure of angle 1 if cub is 78. So 78 minus this 48, so cub is this right here. So that's 78. So we're going to subtract away this part right here and get 30. 30. John doesn't know why both of these images represent complementary angles. Explain to John how he can determine if 2 angles are complementary. Angles are complementary when they add to 90 degrees. So it doesn't matter if they're adjacent or not. So both of these add to 90, so they're both they're both complementary. One is adjacent, one is not, but they're both complementary. Draw an angle that measures about 120 degrees and then classify the angle. So I would say that that's 90. Like that's 90, and so maybe about like that. I'm going to do this again, try to be a little bit more accurate. So I'm going to do, that's my 0. And if this is 90 and this is 180, I need 30 more more degrees, so it's not halfway to here. So I'm about like that. And this is obtuse. Oh, I guess we put it right here, obtuse. All right, number 9. It says find angles 7 and 8 are complementary. That means they add to 90. And 5 and 8 are congruent. The measure of 6 is 29. So if this is 29 and this one equals this one, and 5 and 7 and 8 are complementary, that means that they add to 90, and so these are going to add to 90, and so 90 minus 29, 61. So 5 is 61, and 7 is 29, and 8 is 61. Okay, I'm going to do that one more time, a little bit more clear. And I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to say that angles 7 and 8 are complementary. So that means these two add up to 90. That's a 90-degree angle. This is a straight angle. That means this is a straight angle. Excuse me. This is a straight angle. That means that's 90. That means this is 90. That means that 5 and 6 are complementary. If 6 is 29, then 5 has to be 90 minus 29. So that's a little bit better proof for 5 being 61, and then 8 is the same measure, so it's 61, and so 7 has to also be 29. And the last one, find all of the missing angles A, B, C, and D. All right, so this is 90 right here, and this is 90 right here. So D is equal to 90 minus 15. So 90 minus 15 is 75. So D is 75. We'll put that over here. D equals 75. And let's see, A is, this is a straight angle right here. So 60 plus 55 is 115. 180 minus 115 is 65. So A is equal to 65. And these are all degrees. So, excuse me, A is 65. We're just going to double check. 65 and 60 and 55 is 180. Yep. Okay. So then B has to be the remaining, all the interior of a triangle, all add up to 180. So we're going to do 180 minus 90 and 65. 90 and 65 is 155. So that's 25. So B is 25 and C is 25 because they're vertical angles. Now let's see if there's anything else to explain on this one. The only thing that we hadn't talked about in class is that the sum of the interior measures of triangle equal 180, which is what you needed to get to B. All right, so that is a recap for Monday, June 7th.